It's 2012, on the shore of a dried-up lagoon in northern Kenya. A group of archaeologists comes across something they didn't expect to find. Bones. Dozens of bones, scattered exactly where the people fell. No one buried them. No one came to mourn them. The place is called Nataruk. The remains were dated between 9,500 and 10,500 years ago. That's long before the pyramids, long before writing, long before agriculture. To understand what happened here, you have to go back to long before the day of the attack. 10,000 years ago, around Lake Turkana, small groups of hunter-gatherers lived. They had no permanent homes, no fences, no borders drawn on a map. They fed on fish from the lake, wild fruit, small game from the savanna. Children grew up free between the water and the tall grass, in a world without cities, without kings, without writing. Until recently, many historians believed these people lived relatively peacefully. The idea was simple: no property, no reason for war. Nataruk was about to contradict that idea completely. 27 people, at least 8 women, at least 6 children. None dead from disease, none dead from old age. One man was found with an obsidian blade still lodged in his skull. Another man had 2 club blows in exactly the same spot, enough to shatter the bone. A woman, close to giving birth, was found with her hands and feet bound. She was thrown into the shallow water of the lagoon, the way you throw someone you want to hide, not someone you mourn. Why would someone kill an entire group of women and children 10,000 years ago? Researchers from Cambridge University, led by Marta Mirazón Lahr, spent years analyzing every single bone. How can you be sure a 10,000-year-old fracture was caused by a person and not a fall or an animal? The team used radiocarbon dating on shells found near the skeletons to establish the site's exact age. They examined every fracture under a microscope, comparing its shape to known wounds caused by stone weapons. The obsidian blades found lodged in bone leave no room for doubt. Obsidian doesn't occur naturally in that region. Someone brought the weapons there, specifically for the attack. Their conclusion appeared in the journal Nature in 2016. 10 of the 12 complete skeletons showed clear signs of violent death. Fractures caused by powerful blows to the head. Wounds caused by arrows, still visible in the throat and chest. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a wild animal. It was an organized attack, carried out by one group of people against another group of people. Nataruk isn't the only place in the world where archaeologists have found a similar story. In Sudan, at a site called Jebel Sahaba, researchers found evidence of collective violence even older, nearly 13,000 years old. Dozens of skeletons, men, women, children, with arrowheads still embedded in the bones. 2 sites, 2 different continents, the same disturbing conclusion. Organized warfare doesn't appear to be a recent invention of civilization. It seems to be far older than agriculture, than cities, than the first written laws. Not all researchers agree, however, with the massacre interpretation. Some historians think Nataruk could be the result of an isolated conflict, not a systematic war. Others wonder whether these people were already living a more settled life than we thought, with limited resources worth fighting over. The debate remains open, and researchers agree on one thing with certainty: we need more sites to be sure. But even if the exact interpretation can still be debated, one fact remains clear. People 10,000 years ago were capable of organized, planned violence, carried through to the end. Researcher Robert Foley, co-author of the study, said something worth remembering. He said that aggression and deep care seem to be 2 sides of the same coin in our biology. The same species capable of such cruelty is also the most cooperative species on the planet. How can a single being hold both at once? Maybe the answer isn't that we became violent with the arrival of civilization. Maybe civilization was, in fact, our attempt to keep something that already existed in us under control. Long before the first city, the first law, the first king. Nataruk doesn't show us an isolated moment of madness, lost in the dust of history. It shows us a very old mirror, and what we see in it hasn't changed as much as we'd like to believe. Maybe the difference between us and the people of Nataruk isn't who we are inside. Maybe the difference is just the rules we've built to stop each other.